Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm very excited for this video because I want to share with you the books that I'm thinking of reading for the Classics Community Challenge 2020. I'm super excited about this challenge, like ridiculously excited, and it was organized by Lucy the Reader, who I will link down below, and it's basically an encouragement for people to read more classics than they usually would. I read quite a fair amount of classics. I'm quite fond of them, some of them at least. So the challenge obviously directly spoke to me, and I have set my challenge to a minimum of 20 classics for the year. What I also want to do is to try and double up this challenge with another challenge that was organized by Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures and Britta Böhler, who are encouraging people to read more German books, and tripling that up, as it were, with a personal goal of mine, which is to read more books in French. So I'll try to bring this all under the same roof, and I'll try to read classics which were written in English, German, and French. Now, you also may know that I'm not one for TBRs. I don't do monthly TBRs because they're just too restrictive for me, but I still want to share the books that I have on my shelves that I'm really excited about and that are classics and that I might potentially read. So without further ado, I'll walk you through some of these. I'll start with the books that were originally written in German, and the first one is Buddenbrooks by Thomas Mann, which was written in 1901, and it's like a novel that stretches over 4 generations of a North German bourgeoisie family in the mid-19th century. Then I have Das Narrenschiff by Sebastian Brand from 1484, which is a satirical allegory written in verse. The English title is The Ship of Fools. Then I have 2 novellas by E.T.A. Hoffmann, Fräulein Scudery, which is a pseudo-detective novella set in 17th century France at the court of Louis XIV, and Der Sandmann, which is kind of a horror/folklore short story. And on my e-reader I also have Schachnovelle by Stefan Zweig. The English title is Chess Story, and it's a novella about a man who tries to stay sane by immersing himself into a game of chess. And finally, I have 3 little books by Rainer Maria Rilke, 1 book with 3 short stories and 2 poetry collections. And he is a poet from the beginning of the 20th century. Now I'll move on to the books that were originally written in English, and the first one is a collection of horror stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Then I have Little Women by Louise May Alcott. Then I have The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which is this semi-autobiographical novel in which she explores like her depression and bipolar disorder. Then I have the very much known dystopian novel Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. A Handful of Dust by Evelyn Waugh, which is a satirical novel about like the British country bourgeoisie. Then I have the play A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hainsbury, which follows a Black family's experience living in Chicago. I also have East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which is a set of interwoven stories of 2 families in Southern California. Tess of the Dubervilles by Thomas Hardy, which is a coming-of-age story, I guess, of a young impoverished woman. I also have The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, which is a mystery sensational novel and is sometimes described as an early detective novel. Then I have To a God Unknown by John Steinbeck, which is a very short book about our connection as people to the land and how that intersects with like belief and faith. Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, that I don't think I need to present further. I also have A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, which is a romance, but at the same time a kind of critique of Edwardian society. I am super pumped for this one. And then I also have Dubliners by James Joyce, which is a set of 15 short stories depicting life in Dublin. And also on my e-reader I have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, which is on my 5-star prediction list, so I definitely need to get to that one. Then I also have The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells, which is a sci-fi book about a shipwrecked man who lands on an island where this crazy scientist performs like weird experiments. And finally, Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, which is a novel set in a British farming community. Finally, moving on to the classics that were written originally in French, I have Suite Française by Irène Nemirovsky, which is a portrayal of France at the onset of the Second World War. Then I have Huis Clos by Jean-Paul Sartre. The English title is No Exit, and it's a reread for me that I definitely want to get to, and it's an existentialist play about 3 characters who are trapped in this mysterious room and they don't know what they're doing there and what they're supposed to be doing. And they start learning things about each other and they find out that they're all not very nice people. Then I have La Nuit des Temps by René Barjavel. The English title is The Ice People, and it's a sci-fi novel from the 1960s in which scientists find a man and a woman who are in suspended animation in the ice of Antarctica and find out that they're from some long-lost Earth civilization. Then I have a poetry collection by Guillaume Apollinaire called Calligram. So Calligrams, the English title is also Poems of Peace and War. It was published shortly after the First World War, and it shows poems that also have this special arrangement of the words and the syllables, which gives them a specific meaning. I've always been meaning to get to that collection. Then I also have L'Assommoir by Émile Zola, who has various English titled translations, and it's a study of alcoholism and poverty in the working class in Paris in the 19th century. Finally, on my e-reader, I also have Le Comte de Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo, about this man who is wrongly imprisoned and ends up escaping and wanting revenge, as well as Les Misérables by Victor Hugo, which I don't think I need to present to any one of you. So these are all the books that are on my classics TBR, and I've counted them. It's a bit over 30 books, so it's quite a nice number to choose from if I want to read at least 20 of them during this year of 2020. I would really like to know from you guys if you have read any of these books, if you have any of these books on your TBR, and also what makes you excited for them if you do. Also, if any of these caught your attention. And most of all, I want to know if you're participating in the Classics Community Challenge. Also, let me know down below which books you plan to read, how many do you plan to read, and if you have filmed a video similar to this one, please let me know down below so that I can check it out, because I am so excited and I am really looking forward to seeing people enjoying reading and enjoying classics during this year and to be able to share that experience. That's it from me today. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!